Success isn't just about money. It's about winning in every area of life. Welcome to the Larry Holsey podcast, where we dive into leadership, business, personal growth, investing, and family so you can prosper the way God intended. I'm Larry Holsey, and each episode will bring you the wisdom, strategies, and motivation to help you level up in every part of your life. So if you're ready to grow, lead, and succeed, let's get started. Hey there. How's it going? This is Larry Holsey. This is the Larry Holsey podcast. Super excited to be on here with you guys today. And if you've been following along the last few sessions that we did, this is actually the 17th that we've done on the 17 principles of success from Napoleon Hill. So we've covered a lot of ground. I mean, we've covered all this stuff. So just a recap, Napoleon Hill wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich back in, I don't even know, it was maybe, do I have that book handy? No, I don't have it in here. But anyway, I think it was 1920 when that book was written. But anyway, he had been, was being mentored by Andrew Carnegie, who at the time was like the richest man in the world. And Andrew Carnegie gave him letters of introduction to the 500 most successful men in America. And he was able to go interview them and compiled a series of principles based on what he learned in those interviews with these gentlemen and what they had done to be successful. And he compiled their secrets for success in a book called Think and Grow Rich. Okay, so if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich, I highly recommend it. It's phenomenal. It's one of those books that's timeless. It's one of those books that I've gone back to many times to brush up on and as a reference book and it's just, it's all in there. It's all in there. So anyway, highly recommend that. So we've been covering the 17 principles of success that Napoleon Hill found in his time of research, which took him like 20 years to do the research, interview all the people, and then write the book. So it's phenomenal. So definitely you can follow us please subscribe to us at all the places you get your podcast. Subscribe on YouTube would be very helpful if you find value here. And I'm excited to share with you today's the 17th principle, so the last one here in this series, and then we'll go on to some other subjects that we'll talk about here on the podcast. But tell you what, I just want to recap. I've actually got them over here on my wall, the 17 principles. I've got them framed here, so I'm going to go over them again. So definiteness of purpose was number one, then mastermind alliance, then applied faith, going the extra mile, enthusiasm, positive mental attitude, teamwork, pleasing personality, accurate thinking, creative vision, personal initiative, controlled attention, self-discipline, learning from adversity and defeat, the maintenance of sound health, budgeting time and money, and cosmic habit force is the 17th principle. And that's what we're going to talk about today is cosmic habit force. Okay, so I'll be referring to my notes here because I've got my little workbook where I have all the notes from Napoleon Hill, and he says cosmic habit force is the law which fixes all habits. In other words, he calls it cosmic habit force, which is kind of a interesting way to refer to it, but it's when you do something over and over again, what ends up happening is those habits that you have end up becoming permanent, okay, in many people's lives, all right? And once that cosmic habit force or that permanency has been set in, it's very difficult to change a habit. And we all know that. We've all tried to break a bad habit. It's very difficult to do that. And the way that you do it is to replace it with a new habit, a different habit, okay? So habitual behavior is what determines how your life turns out. It's not what you do one day. It's not what you do 1 week or 1 month. It's what you do habitually that determines your lifestyle, that determines how much money you're going to have in the bank, that determines the success of your business, your marriage, your parenting. It's what you do daily. It's the habits that you have daily that determine how your life turns out. Okay? So, and those habits do get fixed. And I'll tell you what, it's hard to break a bad habit, but it's also hard to break a good habit. Okay. Habits are hard to break, whether they're good or bad. Doesn't even matter. So keep that in mind. So if you have good habits, those habits are hard to break too. Like if you're somebody who works out consistently, then man, that's a hard habit to break. You know, for me, I drink my shake daily, my Herbalife shake. I drink it every day. That's a hard habit for me to break because I've been doing it every day for 29 years now. So, you know, people may think I'm really disciplined with it, but I'm not. It's just habit. I wake up, boom, drink my shake. That's it. Okay. Same thing for working out. Same thing for, whatever you have in your life that are those habits. So anyway, all right. So here we go. Let me just read this to you as kind of a starting point. So it says the thought habits of individuals are automatically fixed and made permanent by cosmic habit force, no matter whether they are positive or negative, which is what I was just saying here. So now, here's what Napoleon Hill says. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's because you've drifted into bad habits, okay? Or drifted into habits that don't serve you. So if you look at your life today and you think, okay, my life's not, like sometimes people say, man, I just look at my life and I'm like, this is not what I imagined. This is not how I saw it all playing out. And, that's a lot of people and a lot of you guys watching this, possibly you're there. Maybe it's in certain areas of your life. Maybe some areas are great and other areas you're like, man, I just really didn't see this turning out this way. So chances are if your life isn't turning out the way that you wanted, it's because you've allowed drift to creep into your life. You've allowed yourself to just drift, just kind of drift into whatever happens. You're kind of going with the flow. And I really don't like that when people say they're just go with the flow, because if you go with the flow, if you go with the masses, guess where the masses are going? The masses are going to failure. The masses are going to lack of health, lack of money, lack of time, no joy, no happiness. That's where the masses are going. The masses are going, they're on the road that leads to destruction. Okay? So if you want to be in the, the top 2%, the top 2% of people that are getting what they want financially, having a great, happy marriage, having a great, happy life in whatever area, then you're going to have to do some different things, and you're going to have to go against the grain. You're going to have to go against the flow, not go with the flow. Don't go with the flow. The flow is drifting down the mountain. Okay. The flow is going down. You're going to have to go upstream. You're going to have to go against the grain. Okay. So the way that Napoleon Hill put it here is that if your life is not what you want it to be, you will realize that you have drifted into your present condition because you have let the power of cosmic habit force carry you on the failure side of the river of thought. So, really important. We don't want to do that. All right. So, he said here, there's a method of breaking the hold of cosmic habit force on a poverty consciousness and substituting in its place a prosperity consciousness. Okay? Now, I'm probably going to make some of you mad whenever we talk about poverty consciousness. Okay? But poverty consciousness is going to create an attraction in your life to be impoverished. Okay? So, what are some examples of poverty consciousness in my opinion? Okay. Clipping coupons is poverty consciousness. Okay. Now, growing up, man, my mom was the best coupon clipper on the planet. I mean, she had them like organized and we had coupons for everything. We had coupons for going out to eat. We had coupons for at the grocery store. I mean, she was a coupon crazy person. All right. Now, at the time, we were impoverished, okay? We were, my mom was a secretary She worked full-time as a secretary. She waited tables on the weekends. My dad worked full-time. My dad worked like 90 hours a week. My parents divorced when I was like in 5th grade. So after that, we were, it was my mom and me and my little sister. And, man, we were broke. I look back and I think, holy moly, how did we even make it? I mean, my mom she made $1,400 a month at her job. Okay. Her full-time job. She made whatever she made waiting tables. Maybe she didn't made another 1,400 waiting tables, and had 2 kids, single mom, plus cooking, cleaning, being a mom, all those things. And I remember seeing, coupons, a lot of coupons, I remember seeing food stamps. So for some of you younger guys, you may not know that they actually used to have, they were actual stamps for the food stamps, and they were green. And I remember seeing those, in my mom's purse or like in her wallet and like, just around the house. I remember that. And we were on free lunches at school. So we had, back then, now I think they have some kind of card. You just swipe. It's kind of like looks like a credit card. So it's not really a big deal where people can, see it. But I remember as a kid, you had like this big, it was like this big neon colored card that you had to pull out. And it was like the free lunch card. And you had to like get it punched or something. And in middle school, you're already so self-conscious in middle school that you don't want anything bringing attention to you. And that free lunch card was such a pain in my side. It was the bane of my existence. I just wouldn't eat. I would just skip lunch. I just wouldn't eat. I would just go hungry because I was embarrassed to have that free lunch card because it was like, you're the poor kid. Okay. And so I was like, I don't want to have that. Now, man, no shade on my mom. My mom was doing the best she could with what she had available to her, with the information she had available to her at that time, as are you. Wherever you're at now, I mean, you're doing the best you can with the information you have available to you. And, I'm glad you're on here, though, because you're being exposed to some new information. And with that new information, you can make a new decision to create some new habits to get a different result if you choose. So anyway, so my mom had a poverty consciousness. Okay, I'll tell you some of the words of poverty consciousness. One of those words is, one of those set of words or phrases is, I can't afford it. Okay, that's the poverty word. Okay, I can't afford it. I can't is poverty consciousness. The words I can't are not allowed in my house. We do not allow, we have 4 kids, and I would rather them say a cuss word than say the words I can't. Okay, I can't is a cuss word in my house. Nobody is allowed to say it. We don't say it. Okay, so I can't, like I can't afford it. I can't afford that. We certainly never say that. But I heard that a lot growing up. That was something I heard all the time. We can't afford that. Okay. I also heard, hey, do you think money grows on trees? My mom used to say that, which is funny because I was a smart aleck and I would be like, well, technically, Mom, it is paper, so technically it grows on trees. So I think I probably got smacked for that a few times, rightfully so. Anyway, so, another poverty word or a word you'll hear losers say is, hey, I'll try. Okay. What does that really mean? If somebody said, hey, we've got what if I said this to my wife? Hey, I'll try to be faithful to you. Can you imagine? What does that say? I'll try. What you'll try? No. Okay. So we don't say I'll try. Try, one person that I heard teaching one time said that try is the battle cry of the loser. Let me say it again. Try is the battle cry of the loser. Losers use the word try. Winners don't use the word try. Winners do it. Winners get the job done. Winners are going to make it happen. If winner says he's going to be there, he's there. And he doesn't say, well, I'll try to meet you or I'll try to get that done. No, I ain't trying. I'm either doing it or I'm not. And we all know what Yoda said, right? You remember Yoda? Yoda said, there is no try, there is only do. So it's like, it's just you're either going to do it or not. So just let your yes be yes, let your no be no. Okay? So if we're going to replace poverty consciousness with prosperity consciousness, we got to start to think different. We got to start to put different thoughts in our brain. We got to have different words come out of our mouth. And we got to not speak those poverty words. We got to replace them with prosperity words like, I'll do it. I'll make it happen. I'm going to, not I can't, I can. You can quote scripture. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Okay. That's a way to override your negative thinking, your negative talk. So one thing that can really help you is if you start to have a negative thought, okay, you can override a negative thought by speaking a positive word, because it's impossible to speak a positive word while holding a negative thought. So if you start thinking in your brain and you start getting scared, you're trying something new, you're trying to change your life, and you start getting this little devil in your ear that says, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? What do you know about business? What do you know about being successful? Your whole family's been broke for 100 years. What do you know about this? Who are you to try to step out of this? Man, come back with a positive word. Just be like, man, I know I can do this. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Say that out loud, because you can't hold that negative thought while you're speaking that positive word. Okay? So, okay, great. Awesome. So, here's a couple of steps that you can take to reach your goals in life and change your direction. Okay, so first step is write out a complete, clear vision of your definite major purpose in life. Okay, write out a complete, clear vision of your definite major purpose. And what you want to do is so that's like your specific goals in life. And it needs to be big. If it's not big, it's not going to keep you on track. Okay? You want something big and exciting and motivating to keep you on track towards something that's going to pull you to a compelling future. If you just have, like, for example, my goals are just to pay these lousy bills, well, that's not very exciting, and you're not going to be very motivated to do that. Okay? So you need something that's big and exciting, man. Let yourself get excited. Okay. So number one, write out a complete, clear, and definite statement of your specific goals in life. Sign it and commit it to memory. Okay? Then repeat it out loud at least once every day, if not more. Okay? Very important that you repeat it, read it, and repeat it out loud every day by mouth, out loud. Okay? This is really important. And the more you do it, if you do it more than once per day, even better. Okay? If you do it twice or three times, the more you do it, the faster it's going to come to pass. Because by speaking it, you're going to ingrain the belief into your mind that's going to make it happen. Okay? That's going to condition you to create the habits to make it happen. It's going to create the you that can make it happen. All right. So that's number one. Second, write out a plan of how you're going to achieve that. All right. So you make the goals, then you make a plan. Now, does the plan have to be perfect? Absolutely not. You just need to make a plan, and then you do the plan, and then you get feedback from doing the plan, and then you review the results, and then make another plan. Make a better plan. Okay? So you have a plan. You're going to achieve these big things in your life. You go out and you do the plan, execute the plan, review the results. So you do this at the end of every day, at the end of every week, at the end of every month, at the end of every quarter, at the end of every year. You have a plan, you work the plan, you do it, and then you review it. Okay? Plan, do, review. Okay? Very effective way to make sure that your plan gets better and better and better and better. Because whenever you start out, you're not going to have the whole thing figured out. Okay? You're going to be off track a lot of the time on your way to your goals and to your definite major purpose. So you think about it like an airplane, an airplane, when it takes off and it goes wherever it's going, probably 95% of the time while that, plane is on its way to its destination, it's off course, okay? Because it gets a little off course this way, a little off course that way, a little off course that way. It's all these mid-course corrections along the way to get where you want to go ultimately. Okay, so that's just part of it. And sometimes you might get way off course, and then you just got to come back. Okay, you just got to come back, get back on course, get back towards your definite major purpose. Okay, all right. So then you want to keep your goals and plans. So third, actually, so second was create your plan. Third is make your plan flexible enough to permit changes at any time you're inspired to do so. So plan, do, review. You're going to be making adjustments along the way. Okay. All right. So fourth, you want to make sure you keep your goals in front of you, and you want to fixate on those goals. Fixate or focus on those goals. Whatever you have is the top of mind awareness, is the major thought or the major thing in your mind, okay? The dominating thought. That's what you're going to attract. Now, that can work for you or that can work against you. Because if you are let's say you're in a bind and you've got bills piling up and you are broke and you got problems and you got issues and you got things going on. We all do. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got issues. Your mental focus, if you allow yourself to fixate on your problems, what you're going to do is you're going to attract more problems. So you want to fixate on what you want. Don't fixate on what you don't want. Because when you fixate on what you don't want, that's what you're going to get. So you got to shift your focus, and that takes mental discipline, okay? If you're dealing with all these problems and all this stuff, you've got to look up. You got to be like, okay, I've got all this stuff I'm doing. I've got to be able to look up and get my mind focused on a compelling future, because that compelling future is what's going to pull me out of this mess. My focus on this compelling future is going to pull me out of this mess. It's not going to happen if I keep my eyes down on these issues. Okay, I'm just going to get more of this, and we obviously you don't want that. Okay, all right. So so let's talk about your willpower, because you're going to need to control your willpower, and to get where you want to go, you need to control your willpower. So first thing, part of a plan to control willpower is actively align yourself with people that have similar goals. Okay? Align yourself with people that have similar goals. This is huge. One of the things we've talked about in our series, and something I'm always talking to my kids about and my family and my team, is the power of influence. It's very powerful, yet it's very subtle. So the people that you hang around, you will become like. Okay? So if you look around and you're hanging out with 4 or 5 broke people, you're going to say you're hanging out with 4 broke people, guess what? You're the 5th. If you're hanging out with 4 alcoholics, you're the 5th. If you're hanging out with 4, people that read a lot of books, you're the 5th. You're hanging out with 4 go-getters, you're the 5th. Okay, so those 5 people that you spend the most time with are going to be one of the greatest influences on your life. And if you take those 5 people and you average their incomes, that's going to be the ceiling on how much you can make. Okay, and if you're in a group that you are the highest earner, you need to get a new group. You need to expose yourself if you want to go farther. If you don't want to go farther, you don't have to have a new group. But if you're the top of the pile, chances are they're going to bring you down and pull your income down, pull your habits down. So you want to start seeing, how can I get aligned with people that think bigger, that are going bigger places, and listening to podcasts like this is certainly one way. Reading books is another way. Attending seminars is another way. But also making new friends. Doesn't mean you have to get rid of your old friends. Some of them maybe. But it means making new friends, getting a new friend group, getting exposed to a different group of people. Okay? All right, so controlling willpower. Best thing to control willpower is put the environment around you that helps you control your willpower. It helps you control your habits. Okay? Because if you're hanging out with winners, you're going to be a winner. It's just it. Okay? Step 2, you want to have a plan. Okay? Have a plan to do that. Number 3 is, this says, remove yourself from the range of every person in every circumstance which has even a slight tendency to make you feel inferior. Now, I'm going to have to kind of disagree a little bit with Napoleon on this because I'm not sure exactly what he means, because sometimes when you put yourself in these situations where you're around people that are playing life at a higher level than you, you're going to feel a little uncomfortable, okay? And you might feel what you could call inferior because, man, there's some guys that I get around, we've got some great stuff going on, but man, then I get around some of these guys and I'm like, holy crap, like these guys make me feel uncomfortable because they're so much more successful than me. Got such a greater business than I do, such a greater income, so many more assets or whatever. And some of these guys that I get around make me uncomfortable and make me feel a little bit inferior. So that's okay. That's a part of the growth process. You should be getting in some relationships that make you uncomfortable. If you do, then that means you're going to be uncomfortable and you're going to do things to kind of grow into those relationships. Okay? All right. So, all right. Fourth, close the door on any unpleasant experiences of the past. That means let the past go. Let the past go, whether it's something you did or something that somebody did to you. You got to let it go because the past is the past and there's nothing you can do to change it. So let it go, especially if it's something you did, because we have such a hard time where we beat ourselves up over things we did do or didn't do. And all that does is cause our life to persist with problems. Okay, so I just had a talk with my 11-year-old about this here recently. Okay, she's playing volleyball for the first time. She's played it a couple times, but playing it with the school for the first time. And she's playing with older girls at 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. She goes to a small Christian private school. And she gets on the court, but she doesn't start, and she doesn't get a ton of playing time. But when she does, she had this tendency to, if she missed a shot, which is, common. You're playing volleyball. I mean, the ball's coming a million miles an hour. Some of those 8th graders, serving at the 6th graders. Of course, if they see a little one, they're going to, target them. So she's got these balls coming at her really fast. And, she'd miss some balls. So when she would miss, she would get down on herself. She would put her head down and be like, oh, and she would show physically what was going on the inside, which was this disappointment in herself, okay, for missing the shot. Now, when you do that, what happens? It makes the likelihood of you making another bad play higher because you're responding to that negative feedback in such a way that it attracts more negative feedback. Okay. So what I told her is I was like, look, babe, I need you to change. And her coach actually pulled her out of the game, because she was like, man, she just gets so emotional and gets down on herself and whatever. I was like, all right, look, here's what we need to do. When you make a bad shot, here's what I want you to do. I want you to celebrate. Okay, you make a bad shot. I want you to completely change your paradigm, completely shift your reaction, and I want you to celebrate. And she was like, no, Dad, what do you mean celebrate when I make a bad shot? I mean, she was so mad at me. She was crying, and I'm like, look, here's what we're going to do. You make a bad shot. We're going to go immediately after you make a bad shot. You miss a shot, whatever. I want you to smile, and I want you to clap. Okay, we're going to be like, oh, yeah, all right. Okay, guys, all right. Hey, sorry about that. We're going to get this going. All right, cool. And jump up and down and shake it off, okay? And she was so resistant to this message. She was not getting it. And I was like, all right. So I was like, look, we can talk about this later. Let's talk about it when you kind of calm down, and we'll come back to it. So we came back to it, and she's in a better mood now. I explained it to her again. Okay, you make a bad shot. I want you to celebrate. And here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to give you $50. This is just how I chose to motivate her to do it. I'm going to give you $50. This $50 is yours. The next time you play your next game, I told her the next 2 games. I was like, after these next 2 games, the $50 is yours. Now, if I see you respond in a negative way because you made a bad shot, if I see you put your head down or mope or kind of have a negative response after a bad shot, I'm going to take $10 from your 50. Okay? So if you do it once, you'll be down to 40. If you do it twice, you'll be down to 30. You do it 5 times, you'll be down to 0. So I'm going to give you this $50. And if you just have the proper response if you were to make a mistake, which are inevitable, you're going to make a mistake, then I'm going to have, you'll have $50 at the end of these 2 games. So she did her first game, and man, she did so good. She missed a shot and just started clapping, and she looks up at me and grins, and then she did, played pretty good. And then she missed another shot on another one, and then looked up at me and was grinning and, clapping. It totally changed the dynamic and changed her experience. She has so much more fun in that game than she had in the previous ones because she wasn't all uptight. She wasn't all worried about making a mistake. So, take that, I'd say with yourself for mess ups of the past or mess ups of the present, man, just shake it off. Have a good attitude. People are going to mess up. You're going to mess up. You're not perfect. Okay. Neither am I. Nobody's perfect. So you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. Just have grace with yourself and just shake it off and go. Okay. All right. So, okay. Close the door on any unpleasant experiences of the past. 5th, surround yourself with every possible physical means of impressing your mind with the nature of your purpose in life. In other words, put yourself in environments of success. Put yourself around successful people. Put yourself around, put images and things that would remind you of the life you want. Okay, this is a great time to talk about dream boards. Having a dream board of what you want to create in your life and who you want to be and what you want to have and what you want to do, and putting a physical representation of that on a board or on a screensaver on your computer or something where you're going to see it all the time. And by seeing it all the time, you'll be attracted to it. Okay. So very, very important. All right. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. Okay. So a couple of things on, establishing new habits. Okay. I got my dog barking over here. Milo, cut it out. Hey, cut it out. Cut it out. He hears the kids came home. All right. So there are 3 principles that you want to look at. Okay. One is that you have the power and ability to change no matter where you are. Okay. You have the ability to change. In fact, if you don't change, nothing will change for you. So for things to change, you have to change. If you want things to change, you personally, you, not other people around you, you have to change. I'm going to let this dog out of here because he's going to bark this whole time. All right. So you have the ability to change. Okay, next is you want to have the frequency of impression that you put of the new life that you want, the frequency that you impress upon yourself this new life, either thinking about it and visualizing, talking about it. The frequency of impression is going to determine how fast you attract that new life, that new habit. Okay? Those new habits. And then the intensity of the impressions when you do it. So the higher the emotion whenever you're impressing, so if you're looking at your dream board and you're visualizing about your new incredible life and your new habits, the more emotional you can make that experience, the deeper it's embedded in your subconscious. And your subconscious is really what's going to control your habits, because the subconscious is like the holder of that cosmic habit force. It's what creates the habits. It's what you do subconsciously. You think about when you drive to work, you probably go the same way every day. And then one day you're going somewhere else. Maybe you're going to your kid's school and you end up driving to work. You end up driving that same way because it's just a habit and you do that subconsciously. So the intensity of the impression through emotion. So if you can visualize and really either you could play music to increase the emotion, you could just really imagine just really get emotional. The more emotion that's involved, that embeds memory, that embeds those things in your subconscious. Okay. So cosmic habit force, man, totally a huge, huge part of getting where you want to go and understanding it. It's real. It's just a matter of using it to your advantage. Okay, so I can't even believe it. We got through 17 principles of success by Napoleon Hill. Like, holy moly. So good. I'm so glad we got these recorded. So you guys have a great day. Make it awesome. Implement some of these things. Of course, you can follow us on YouTube at Larry Holsey. Follow us anywhere you get your podcasts, the Larry Holsey podcast. And I'm excited for you guys to have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. That's a wrap for today. If you got value from this episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a show. And if this message resonated with you, share it with a friend and connect with me on social media. I'm at Larry Holsey, and I'd love to hear how you're applying these lessons in your own journey. So remember, success is more than just one area of life. You want to keep growing, keep leading, and keep prospering the way God intended. We'll see you next time.